Mr. Mike Nelson. Woo!
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Timing.
So great to be here on this Friday evening as we welcome Shabbat here in person in the Warsaw Family Amphitheater, along with our TBY Simcha Band. We're excited to have them and to have you here and to welcome all the folks who are online, on Zoom, and streaming in the various ways. We hope you're staying safe and healthy and that you've had a good week and that this Shabbat service will make it even better. Let's begin by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose. Thank you, Cantor.
It's not COVID, I swear.
Nice big breaths. He's always so relaxing, Cantor Grant, isn't he? This is Cantor Grant, by the way, in case you haven't recognized him. We've missed him for the last few weeks.
For a few weeks.
He's
nice
been
to
away.
be back, everyone.
And I'm Rabbi Gersh Silberman, and I know we have a few visitors here. It's great to have our visitors and our regulars. We're going to begin with a blessing over the candles. Folks at home may like to light them right now. We've got our candles here in front of us. Let's join together. It's page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this holy space in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship together lead us to acts of kindness, to acts of peace, and to acts of love.
Amen.
As we continue to ease into the Shabbat spirit with the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, we turn to page 131 and the words of Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. We sing a new song to God.
אלילים ורינים, פרני שמיים עשה, הול והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת פרקדשו. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים. וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער, לפני אדוני קיווה קיווה לשפוט הארץ. ישפוט ארץ צדק ועמים אמונתו.
And on page 138 in the musical setting brought to us by the Jewish community of Italy, we sing the Chadodi verses 1, 2, 5, and then rise for the final 9th verse. Page 138. Well, just as we have welcomed Shabbat, let's welcome each other. Those at home are going to head into breakout rooms, and those here, greet each other without being too close because BA5 is in town. You can do the chicken dance. You can do the MBS bump. We'll be back in a few minutes.
MBS bump.
welcome back. Hope you had a chance to catch up with someone you haven't seen for a while. Couple shout-outs. They've been very regular online, but this is the first time back in person. I want to welcome the Feugl people. Great to have the Feugl people with us. They've been regulars online, and great to have you here in person. Online, I want to call out a few people. Nancy Marcus is all the way from San Diego. Ada Gilbert has found a way to put a face emoji on. I think we need to have a big screen so you guys can see them. Ada Gilbert has.
I love it.
Yeah, she's. I think she's a 94-year-old dog. The folks online get that that's not offensive.
It's a 94-year-old puppy.
She has like an emoji face over her, and I'm not sure if that was intentional. It's reminiscent of that Zoom lawyer who assured the judge that he was not a cat. That's what's going on there. Grace Deutsch is right there, and Larry and Allison Ross is here, and my parents all the way from Melbourne, Australia.
Wow.
Among others. So, and we, of course, have our brand new president, Adrian Cohen, still brand new, came all the way from Berlin just to be here this Shabbat. You going back next week, right? No. Back to stay. Okay, we're glad. Well, now that we are praying among friends and together, both in person and online, let's turn to the call to prayer, page 146. The Baruch Hu, and if you are here in person, please rise. Please be seated. On page 149, let's join together in the English reading, top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Ha'ma'ariv ha'aravi.
Amen.
תורתך תשים ממנו לעולמים.
We rise for the Shema, page 152.
ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
אוהב עמו ישראל. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please be seated. On page 158, the song our ancestors sang as they reached freedom across the sea.
Come on.
כי פדרנה את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardians, life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. In a moment, we're going to join together in the tefillah on page 164. And in the beginning of the tefillah, we invoke our ancestors and remind ourselves of our chain of tradition that goes far back through the generations and our role in projecting forward into the future generations. And I want to call out two individuals who represent the polar ends of the generations in our community tonight. At one end here in person, 100 years old, Sonny Gordon, who's made it in person. And at the other end of the spectrum, we have a youngster who is online. I have on good authority, Julia Vogel is online, otherwise known as Rabbi Miriam Rabbi Miriam's daughter. She's online, so I'm calling her out as well, from the youngest to the oldest, everything in between. It's fabulous to be together, and so let's rise now as we remember our ancestors and remember our responsibility to future generations. Page 164.
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'ara, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'bevii Gehula Libnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Yahweh, Melech Ozer Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah, Rav L'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakeh Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somet Nofim Berofech Olim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayem Emunato, Mishenei Afar, Mikamocha Bal Gevurah, Umilo Melach, Melech Benid Mechayeh, U'mazmiach Yeshua, Ve'ne'eman Ata L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'kedoshim B'chol Yom Yehaleluch HaSela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Let's now take some time to pray silently the words on the page or the prayer of the heart, and we'll return together for a prayer of peace on page 178.
את עמו ישראל.
May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. And we say,
Amen.
Page 382 is our prayer for healing as we join together thinking of those in need of healing of body, mind, and of spirit.
Oh, חיבותינו, אדוני הושיענה. אל הנהר פנה, אל נהר פנה. רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, רפואה שלמה,
Now reach the Kiddush. Those here, as you came in, you should have received some wine or grape juice. Those at home, grab your Kiddush cups. I believe there may be some more over at the table if you missed out when you arrived. We're on page 123, and with the congregation, please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodesho b'yahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit. Yu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim. Ivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Please be seated. And I'm pleased to tell you that Ada Gilbert herself is back. Great to see you, Ada. Smiling face there. It's the real you, not the cartoon version. It's hard to imagine what it would have been like to live in the 1590s in today's Netherlands, to be grinding away at spectacles, making lenses, and one day getting the bright idea to take a few drops of water, that's water, and place it under one of the lenses, and to see that the water that seemed clear and empty was teeming with tiny little things crawling around. Of course, this first crude microscope dating to the end of the 16th century was just the beginning of looking even deeper and deeper into the tiniest things. Microscopes got better. Today, there are electron microscopes that can see virus particles. And we know through the wizards of physics and so on that there are atoms and subatomic particles, and there are even humongous colliders that can give us insights into what makes up subatomic particles. But it all started with that little drop of water under a crude lens microscope in the 16th century. And it was about 10 or 20 years later that someone took a lens and looked up into the sky and saw rings around Saturn. Galileo got in a lot of trouble for his efforts because it changed the way people looked at the world. And over the years, we've got a lot better at looking out into the cosmos, further and further afield, with finer and finer detail, until the incredible images that we've seen this week coming out of the James Webb Space Telescope. Images of galaxies and nebulae and stars that the light from which has taken 13 billion years, stretching back in time to the very beginnings of our universe. It's amazing to consider how these discoveries of the very tiny on the one hand and of the unimaginably enormous on the other can change our perspective, can change the way we look at our lives, at the things that trouble us, at the things that we get worked up about, at the pettiness that can divide rather than unite. One of the greatest images that transformed humankind's perspective on our own species is known as Earthrise, taken from the moon, looking at Earth, just a tiny blue marble in the blackness of space, rising over the horizon. Some say that was the moment that the modern environmental movement was born. We were reminded that there was not a lot separating us from the blackness of space. We better make our one planet keep us alive for a long time to come. These changes of perspective may help us develop an insight into one of the most perplexing episodes in the Torah. This week, we're reading the story of King Balak, who called upon the prophet Balaam, or Bilam, to curse the people of Israel as our ancestors wandered through the desert. Yet every time he tried to curse our ancestors, he failed. And instead, out of his mouth came words of blessing. There are lots of explanations for why he had a change of heart, and the dominant view is simply that God directed him not to curse, but instead to bless. But there is no tradition about how that actually happened. I want to propose a theory, and that is perspective. You see, we're told that Bilam stands from afar at a high place and looks out at the hundreds of thousands of Israelites below. And he is moved to see them in a different light, to see them in a light that is deserving of blessing. And so he utters the famous words that begin our morning services. Ma tovu ahalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, O Israel, your dwelling places, O Jacob. Perhaps it was God directing him, or perhaps God created the opportunity for a different perspective. And if so, what can that teach us as we continue in our own lives? Shabbat is a time to step back and take a look, to change perspective, to think about the relationships that have soured and wonder if maybe we could step back and see it from the other person's perspective. Perhaps when we feel we're weighed down by hardship and feel cursed, perhaps we can see that those curses are in fact, from another perspective, blessings in disguise. So as we take time out of our week, we join together to welcome Shabbat, a time that reminds us of creation and eternity. As we see the images from outer space in spectacular detail, tantalizing possibilities of what will be discovered from those images. Let's take some time to change our own perspectives. Jump out of the ruts we're in. Take cynicism, turn it into possibility. Take sadness, transform it into feelings of hopefulness. Take anger, turn it into feelings of calm and compassion. And in so doing, may our short time in existence leave an eternal mark, a mark that will reverberate through the cosmos and through time, making all creation better for our having been here. And we say, Amen. As we turn to our prayer of hopefulness, page 586, the Aleinu, I invite the congregation to please rise.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינת וזור בנובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אחד, ואנחנו רואים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר היה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד
Let's remain standing as we turn to page 598. As we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish. This Shabbat, we're in the Shiva mourning period for Geda Aronovitz, Donna Sadoff, and Doris Dietz Turner. This Shabbat marks the Shloshim period, 30 days since the passing of Shirley Rosenzweig, Sarah Shabtai, and Renata Zaks. And this Shabbat marks the Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the deaths of Robert V. Applebaum, Lena Baum, Louis Berger, Gertrude Bloomgarden, Rodrigo Bonilla, Harold Butler, Kathy Cohen, Jean Cooper Smith, James Cuccia, James George de Leon, James P. Giddings, Jerome Goldsmith, Owen Harbus, Minnie Heller, Seymour Ingram, Leonard Jacobs, Estelle Kopp, Molly Kay, Erwin Covid, Estelle Lawler, Emlyn O. Leanne, Seymour Lobel, Alan Victor Lurie, Samuel Mahler, Rabbi Stanley Meisels, Nathan Meyer, Sheldon Miller, Rose Nick, Sylvia Papok, Alexandra Polonsky, Sultan Rabban, Herbert Ring, Sam Rosen, Nathan Rubishek, Florette Rubenstein, Ori Chaim Sachs, Yenta Shmurak, Alan Simon, Lillian Stein, Adelaide Weidberg, Helen Weinstein, and Isidore Waletsky. You also remember those who've died through baseless hatred here in Israel and around the world, those dying from COVID and have died. Numbers are ticking up again. We need to take care. Those who've died from gun violence, 23,747 so far this year. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for an abiding blessing as together we recite the Kaddish. Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma divrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yamechon, v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam l'amei amayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbekata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al Kol Israel ve'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated, all except, of course, our new freshly minted president, Adrian Cohen, freshly arrived from Berlin, Germany. Mike's over there.
Danke. The extent of my German. Shabbat Shalom and welcome, everyone. It is joyful to see everybody here today. I know that sometimes at the end of the week, I certainly get a little tired and I sort of drag myself here. And right now, after sitting through this beautiful service with this beautiful music, I am energized and it feels great. It just such a beautiful way to end the week and start the weekend. So I hope you all feel the same way. We are so lucky to have this amazing outdoor space and such an amazing community of people. It just fills me with joy to be here. So I also want to thank Rabbi and Cantor, of course, for leading our beautiful service with our fantastic band tonight. What a treat. And also our wonderful ushers, including Steve Fink and our membership chair, Brian Brenner, who filled in tonight. We are a bit short-staffed due to some illness today, and we have our hero, Executive Director Mark Goldner, who was a one-man show today, and he has put together an oneg for you tonight. It is our first one since COVID, I think.
He's been slaving in the kitchen all day.
I know he was really stressed out about it today, so please enjoy everybody's company and understand it was a tough day.
Hold on, I don't think we should downplay this. This is the first oneg back, and we're for a couple years, right? Sydney Clavat's been counting the weeks. How many weeks is that, Sydney? I'm not sure. And our plan, God willing, is to keep the oneg back every week. So folks at home, if you've been waiting to come back in person for the oneg and needed an extra reason, love to have you.
We are very excited. So if this is your first time at TBY, welcome. And please come back. We've got so many programs, and people work so hard to put these together. So tomorrow, Torah studies online only at 9 a.m. with Rabbi Phillips. We have Jewish Movie Night Sunday, July 17th, with the 1970s classic Voyage of the Damned, starring many Hollywood elites, too many to mention. And it's at 6:45 p.m. There will be a light nosh of ice cream and popcorn before the screening begins at 7. How can you say no to that? With a discussion about the film with Sorrel Wayne. Please RSVP in advance on the website, and I think there's a whopping $2 admission fee at the door. So please come and enjoy that. We have on July 28th, we have a double header, 3:30 p.m. We have Summering with the TBY Youth Junior Edition. They will be making mezuzot out of Legos, which I think is interesting enough to learn. And you need to RSVP on the tby.org/youth. And at 7 p.m., we have the Authors Forum featuring our own Bruce Cook discussing his novel, An American Rich Girl. This story follows the coming of age of a millennial-era young woman of privilege. And the book can be found on Amazon, and also RSVP to Sandra at sandrachakback and at gmail.com. And Friday, August 12th, we are celebrating romance, friendship, and family with a special TBY Love Shabbat with Rabbi Zilberman, Cantor Waltzman, and the Simcha Band again. And seriously,
it's going to be a different lineup. It's going to be a different musical lineup.
Okay.
Excellent, but different in honor of our Festival of Love, our very own Jewish Valentine's Day, Tu B'Av.
There we are. The holidays are, yes, coming up, less than 12 weeks away, oy vey. So it's time to order your honey, which I did yesterday from Ort. If you don't know what that is, they deliver these cute little jars of honey to everyone that you put on your list, and it is super easy to order it, and everyone that gets it really, really appreciates it. So if you're like me, I don't always remember birthdays and all of that, but this makes it really easy to give somebody something special for the new year. So order by September to ensure delivery. And also on our website and the WTBY landing page on our website. And again, I'm going to remind everyone, membership renewal is in process. I also took care of that today. Very proud of myself. I chose to write a check. You can do it through the website. If you don't know how to do it in the portal, they will help you figure that out. And you should have also gotten your packet in the mail. So there's any different way you want to do it. And if you have any questions, call the office, talk to Sue Penn. She will get you started and take care of you for that. I also want to do a real quick shout out to Ellen Phillips and Matt Cabrera for handling announcements for me while I was away on my European trip. Much appreciated. And finally, last but not least, we have on August 24th, I see there's a lot of kids here tonight, at 10:30, WTBY is doing a tour of the Newport Beach Library Sculpture Garden, which I drive by it all the time. I've never actually been in it. So this is an opportunity for you to get a tour of the garden, and there will be an optional lunch afterwards at the Wild Strawberry Cafe, which also sounds kind of cool. So everything's on the website, and I appreciate your patience listening to all. We have a lot going on here. So please give us a try at another event so you get a chance to see all of the things that we offer here. And thank you all very much.
Thank you, Adrian. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back. Page 625 is our closing song, Adon Olam, and then we'll say Moitzi together, and you'll get your challah at the Oneg. That's why you don't have your individual challahs. So let's rise, page 625.
Shemo
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avot.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos,
Have
everyone.
a great perspective.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
1, 2, 1. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.